From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Tuesday morning. It's 5 o'clock. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Thank you so much for starting your day with us. We begin this Tuesday morning with the latest on the pandemic. Here in Yellowstone County, residents will be required to limit gatherings to 25 people or less for at least another month. At a press conference yesterday, Health Officer John Felton extended his current order and warned even more restrictions could be on the way. That's because a team from the Centers for Disease Control is reviewing the COVID-19 situation here in Yellowstone County and will provide Felton with suggestions to slow the spread. 3,500 people tested positive in Yellowstone County in October alone, and the current infection rate is 92 cases for every 100,000 residents. Felton says with the spike, he wants people to try their best to stay safe over the Thanksgiving holiday.
What we don't want to see is coming out, when we get to mid-December, a couple weeks after Thanksgiving, having another large influx of cases that would have people sick and hospitalized during Christmas and New Year holidays and the other holy days that happen during that period of time. We always got to remember the way this disease is transmitted is through person-to-person contact. So I know it's important to maintain a sense of connectedness. We just need to do that in ways that keep us all safe.
Meanwhile, there's a concerning outbreak in Kalispell. 40 residents of a nursing home there have tested positive for the virus. 4 of them are in the hospital and the others are being isolated. Brendan House officials say they are doing everything they can to keep remaining residents safe. The doors have been closed to outside visitors since March, and staff and those who live there have been tested regularly for the last 10 weeks. The home's operators say they are constantly communicating with resident families as they weather the outbreak. Ed joins us here on the set now to look at today's forecast. What's going on today, Ed?
We got a little everything. We got some blowing snow, we got some fog. Let's take a look and see what's happening region-wide. Starting out with a beautiful shot of the moon here with a clear sky in Billings, but that's let the temperatures drop as well. We're at 19 degrees with the southwest wind at 13 at the airport. It drives the wind chill value down to the single digits. The winds don't feel quite as brisk once you get below the rims, but we will be seeing wind off and on through the forecast. With the cold front moving through tomorrow, it'll take a warm up for today and knock it back down. Some scattered snow showers to go along with it. The morning temperatures are anywhere from 1 below in Jordan all the way to the 20s. How about 27 up in Kalispell? But we've got some cloud cover. 26 for you in Livingston. 28 right now in Cody, Wyoming is the warmest across the region if we count Wyoming into the mix. 11 in Miles City and 15 for Sheridan. But we've got those strong winds causing some blowing snow with the snow that's already on the ground around the Cut Bank Great Falls area, and then strong winds along I-90 around Livingston already hitting over 45 miles an hour. So today we'll be watching for those areas of dense fog region-wide up in northeastern Montana and wind down the east slopes of the Rockies. Take a closer look at all of this coming up in a few minutes.
Yeah, it's cold when your car hangs on to some ice chunks. Like a souvenir or something. It's like just melt already. Gosh.
Yeah, I like that.
Still hanging on
souvenir.
there. All right, Ed, I will get back to the news. Thanks. Even as total cases across the country cross the 10 million mark, there's new hope the pandemic will end relatively soon. That's because the drug company Pfizer says its experimental vaccine works. CBS's Nancy Chin has the details.
Pfizer says early data shows its experimental coronavirus vaccine is more than 90% effective, and it will submit an emergency use authorization with the FDA once its trial is completed in 2 weeks.
We have been working basically around the clock for 8 months. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, medical advance in the last 100 years.
Pfizer says it has 50 million doses ready to go. About half will go to Americans. And the drug company says it will be able to manufacture at least 1.3 billion doses next year. Coronavirus cases are now rising in 26 states, with 41 states seeing a rise in hospitalizations. In Texas, the city of El Paso has brought in 10 mobile morgues. Missouri's governor called up the National Guard to help expand testing. Inside many Nebraska businesses, masks are now required. In Utah, there's a new statewide mask mandate, and this order from the governor.
Utahns may not participate in or host casual social gatherings with individuals other than those in their immediate household for the next 2 weeks.
Alaska, Arkansas, New Mexico, and Colorado all recently hit record daily case numbers. That prompted Denver's mayor to impose a 10 p.m. curfew. Now, new worries of an even larger spike. This weekend, tens of thousands participated in mass gatherings, including here in Times Square, to both protest and celebrate the presidential election results. Health experts fear there were possible super spreader events.
Anytime when you put that many people in close proximity, you do run the risk of that transmission.
And the Irish have knocked off.
The Notre Dame students who rushed the football field Saturday are now required to get a COVID test before they leave for winter break. University officials say students who don't get a test won't be allowed to register for classes next semester. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Medical workers, first responders, and the elderly would be the first in line to receive the vaccine. Pfizer will work with the U.S. military to distribute it. Yesterday's announcement sent work-from-home technology stock plummeting. And another medical breakthrough. The FDA has given the first green light for emergency use of a coronavirus antibody drug. Its maker, Eli Lilly, says it's for people 12 and older with mild or moderate symptoms. In studies, the company found the drug didn't do much for people with severe cases of COVID-19. The treatment is given once through an IV and is meant to help clear up COVID-19 sooner and prevent hospitalizations. Now we go to Missoula, where a 34-year-old man is shot and killed by police, and now some in the community are demanding answers. Missoula police went to a home to investigate a domestic disturbance over the weekend. When they arrived, an officer says Jesse Brown attacked him while holding a knife. Police say they told Brown to drop the knife multiple times, and when he didn't, officers tased him. Even after being tased, he again went after an officer who then shot him. Brown died at the scene. The incident sparked outrage in the Missoula community. Dozens gathered in front of City Hall demanding transparency from the police department. Several protesters said they don't believe enough details on the shooting have been released. Others called for complete police reform.
I believe we're all just concerned because it's our worst case nightmare of what could happen. You call, you're expecting some sort of protection or help or service, and to potentially have a loved one or a community member, just a human being, killed if it was potentially unnecessary. And I think we all just want to know a little bit more information about the incident.
Missoula police say they plan to release more information soon. They have a press conference scheduled on Thursday focused on the investigation. Taking a look now at some national headlines this morning. President Trump is still refusing to concede the race to Joe Biden. The president's legal team continues to claim widespread election fraud as they challenge the outcome in several states, including Pennsylvania. Last night, Attorney General William Barr authorized prosecutors to investigate clear and apparently credible allegations of voting irregularities that might exist. The federal agency that oversees presidential transitions has not provided funding or access to the Biden-Harris team. The Democrats are considering legal action. However, an international group of experts say they haven't found any fraud. The Organization of American States consists of nearly 30 experts and observers from 13 countries. They looked over the election process in Georgia, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, and Washington, D.C. The organization said from what they saw, Election Day went smoothly in those states, and they say the country's mail-in ballot system was secure. The Affordable Care Act is once again on the Supreme Court docket. Today, the justices will hear arguments in the latest legal challenge to the national health insurance law. Texas is arguing the Affordable Care Act is unconstitutional since Congress got rid of the tax penalty it carried if you didn't have insurance. 20 million Americans could lose their health care coverage if the ACA is struck down, but legal experts don't think the court will rule that way. A decision is not expected for several months. And some great news this morning. Glacier, Yellowstone, and all of the national parks in the U.S. are saluting our veterans. The Department of Interior says starting today, entrance fees for national parks will be permanently waived for veterans and Gold Star families. They will no longer have to pay to visit a national park. The department already waives fees for active duty military service members. For many in Montana, hunting is a key piece of how they prepare to feed their families in the winter. MTN's Lauren Heiser spoke with one family in Laurel whose hunting plans got thrown an unexpected curveball.
For the past 15 years, Melissa Camp and her husband have hunted to fill their freezer and feed their family during the winter. And this year was no exception. Melissa even drew a tag that they'd been wanting for a long time, a 411 bull tag. Having never shot an elk, Melissa, with help from her husband, started planning and preparing right away. But suddenly a wrench was thrown in their plans. In July, Camp began feeling ill. She went to a walk-in clinic for blood work for what she assumed was just a vitamin deficiency.
At 9:30 the next morning, July 8th, an oncologist called me at work and informed me that I had leukemia.
What was the first thing that entered your mind in that moment?
The very first thing was I hope my family's okay. I have the strongest, most amazing family. They handled it like champs.
Within 2 hours, she was hospitalized. She spent the next 6 weeks in a cancer treatment center in Billings. But she wasn't letting cancer get in the way of her goal. So to keep up her strength, she walked.
We had a goal of 2 miles a day, and we figured out that it took 9 laps on the 4th floor of the cancer unit to come up with a mile. So 18 laps a day was our goal.
With chemo 5 days a week, their plans still had to change. Community members came forward offering their private land and other resources to help. After days of searching and hours in the cold, Melissa spotted and shot her first bull elk.
So what would you say to either the kids or the young adults or the adults who are struggling for whatever reason and don't feel like they're fast enough or they're strong enough to be out there?
If you have the desire to get it done, you can get it done, and surround yourself with people that want that goal for you as much as you do.
In Missoula, Lauren Heiser, MTN News.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Lauren. And before we take a break, Central and Laurel is one of the fiercest rivalries in all of Class A sports. Now, for the first time ever, the Rams and Locomotives will meet in a state championship football game. Q2's Casey Conlon gets us ready by checking in with 2 star brothers who lead the way for Billings Central.
It doesn't matter where you are in the stadium when Central plays. You can hear Junior Brackenridge.
He definitely has fun out there, and we really want our kids to have fun, and that's the name of the game. It should be enjoyable, especially this year.
Love it. I'm just raised that way, He's like that. My little brother's like that. My dad's like that. I mean, we're all like that. We're just vocal guys.
This year, Junior has help from younger brother Cameron, better known as Bam.
When he was little, he always ran into everything, so he just the noise that it made was Bam. And when I was 2 and my brother was 4, we would just we'd have fun on the pads at the Metro and stuff. And I think one day my brother pushed me off the little wall thing, and the sound effects, I guess, just gave me the nickname Bam. And yeah, it was a crazy experience, but I love the name.
It fits him. Just a sophomore, Bam is Central's starting middle linebacker and second on the team in tackles this season.
Tough little kid, hard-nosed. You look at him a little undersized, but he gets to the football. He's all over the place, and he's got high energy.
His success is no surprise. Bam's been proving those who doubted his small size wrong his whole life.
And that's probably one of my main traits is confidence, because I've always been a little guy. I've always been the underdog, but just being able to come out here and coaches putting so much into me, it really gives me that boost of confidence and that want to play.
That, plus the immediate trust from teammates, no more than from older brother.
So there's no better feeling. When he makes a play, I think I get more excited than when I make plays. I love playing with my teammates out there. They're just amazing. They make sure my head stays on straight. It's cool. It humbles me, though. It really does. And I know that there's people faster, bigger, better than me, but they guide me through everything.
The road has guided them to the State A championship. Now it's on the brothers to lead them to the title. Casey Conlon, MTN Sports.
Thank you, Casey. It's going to be a great atmosphere on Saturday. It may be the biggest Central Laurel game ever. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. in Lockwood.